can someone who would like to volunteer to catch Banjo up to the current situation,
You
you
mean not
guys?
Banjo?
No, yeah, not Garfunkel. I think you'll find.
Should probably be somebody who doesn't play at 3 a.m. and thus has a more coherent memory of events.
Alright, Rickle, you're volunteered. As it's 8 a.m. and I haven't been to bed yet.
Okay. What is the last thing you remember, Mr. Banjo?
Being not Banjo.
Right. All right. So we leave. We depart from Waterdeep. No, not Waterdeep. Neverwinter. With human you saying, "I'm sorry, I need to figure this out," and we go to Silvery Moon,
Mm-hmm.
up the river, sort of near Mithril Hall, where we find out that there's a necromancer in Mithril Hall who broke in with the waves of the Overlord's minions, and he's just been making corpse creatures that he's been sending through the caves into Lurkwood. We go to the Admiralty, or the general forces in Silvery Moon itself. We met a rather handsome half-orc who was kind enough to entertain our shenanigans and accept the supplies that we were delivering. After which we told him about the necromancer in Mithril Hall and the caves leading into Lurkwood. Apparently Lokek had something to offer there, which is nice.
Well, it's my hometown, so yeah.
We then set out into the Glimmerwood to circumvent most of the forces of the Overlord. And you can see the orange dotted area around the red, which is what the forces of good will repossess from the Overlord once some time has passed.
With the supplies we delivered.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. And we went into Citadel Advar, sneaking our way through the various side passages. And then we ran into two people whom we didn't even bother asking who they were. We just fucking killed them.
Murdered them.
We took a silent sphere and we killed them instantly. They died real fast. After which we found out they were more operatives of this Foreskin.
Foreskin? Yes, we all know.
Yes. I'm just going to say they're operatives of the Forsaken, who had gathered more pieces of the Heart of Ayul, which is the heart, I'm saying heart, Star of Ayul, which is an artifact of great power that you can use to forge incredible weapons. And we are expecting this forge to be the key to stopping the Overlord.
And almost the entire time, Valkyrie is blatantly abusing one of her new spells in order to get us around.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much the long and short of it. Banjo, your coming weeks of not being with the group give you a small time to reflect on the occurrence of what has happened. You can, at at this stage, you can decide to either continue as you mean to go on as not Garfunkel, and you can try and retrace the steps of your party and rejoin them, or you can choose to go off and venture into your own adventure or own
Go
self.
see your family.
Yes, he learned a very valuable lesson. Don't drink and sign contracts.
But it's up to you at this point what you wish to do with that.
Oh, also, we touched this weird globe thing and it zapped some of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a book with the whole history of the Star of Ayul and some bullshit about how Orcus gave some dwarves, some Duragar, a weapon. Ah, here it is. Let's see. King Lucius Bellhorn, the Duragar, made a deal with Orcus to build a forge worthy of the task of forging him weapons that could beat a bunch of tieflings. After many years, he managed to finish the construction of the forge, and he could forge cool weapons that could do cool stuff. Orcus gave the king a solid ruby staff relic that would help infuse the powers of the weapons in the forge. The star itself is linked to the forge, and you can use it to find the location of the forge. And since the star was lost, the cult has been looking for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go back to my family as Garfunkel. It'll freak them out. So
You sure? That sounds like a great idea.
so just follow where the party is.
Sure. So you'll spend the next few sort of days or so traveling through and try and catch up with the rest of the group. Some altercations occur along the way, and you manage to evade forces, and you meet some people along the way, and a story transpires from your little journey. The others, however, they find themselves in a room with a sphere in the middle, a magical sphere of some sort, and they each step into foot placements on the floor, and it seems to take them to almost like some sort of
Extra dimensional
plane,
space.
yeah, of sorts, and they see a series of bars in front of them. Where are we?
I'm like, we're in the dimensional space of Banjo. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. As they do, and this time, that as they travel and they get to this point, they can hear very distantly, but some altercations occurring on above them, where the citadel would be. However, as much as they try to release from this zone and perhaps go to investigate to see what's occurring, they're unable to. And at first, nothing kind of happens for them apart from being stuck in this weird ethereal kind of space. For you, Banjo.
You mean not Banjo?
Well, he's still Banjo for now. He, as far as his name is concerned, he's Banjo.
Alrighty.
For you, you from your travel find yourself in like an underground tomb, pathway leads you to a sphere. This time, you see an electrical kind of magical essence coming from it. It has a single bunch of steps with two what would look like footprint-sized divots into the floor. What do you do?
First of all, I'm just going to examine, look for traps or any. Can be cautious, and yeah, that's the first thing I'll do.
Okay, roll new investigation.
It's trapped to rat spit.
22.
Traps everywhere.
22. Okay. It's not trapped per se, but it most definitely would give you some sort of shock if you was to touch the magical field around the sphere.
I'm going to touch the magical field around the sphere.
Okay.
And he specifically did not said he did not put his feet on the footsteps. So what happened?
If he's not placing his foot in the foot placements, he receives 4 points of force damage.
4 points of force damage?
4.
Ah! I'm just going to then put my feet in the footsteps and repeat, I guess.
You feel like a pull, almost like not necessarily your body, but like your soul gets pulled forward, and it's almost like traveling through space in extreme speed, and you find yourself in a clouded, pure white. Like, when I say pure white, is you see nothing else at all. But as you begin to look around, you do see Valkyrie, you see Rick, and you see Lokag. You also see a sort of spectral type bar in front of you.
Hey guys.
It's a strange reality where your wildest dreams can come true, yet nothing makes sense. Also known as a casino.
Yeah. So
I have heard of this casino. I think they play cards there.
I take
Casino.
one look at this person and I go, and I hear you get drunk and sign stupid contracts without reading them first.
On napkins.
No, they generally don't bother with contracts, just muscle.
you don't need your hands.
So what
You guys-
happens if you grab a giant
Help us.
maul? What would happen if you grabbed a giant maul and smacked this one towards this one?
Well, as Lokag would be thinking that and reaching for his weapons, you don't have access to them.
Why don't we just touch them?
So,
All at once.
let me bring up the notes I've got for the rules of this particular puzzle.
Oh god.
I'm like, but I can just, I'm like, I know, we can grab Banjo and use him as the club.
Yes.
So,
That sounds so fun.
first of all, I will take Valkyrie. If you are attempting to reach or hit in any way this bar, could you roll a 1d6 for me, please?
Valkyrie's first attempt would be to do so magically, just for the record.
Either way, that's fine.
So D100?
D1 6. 1d6.
Not sure why I heard 100, sorry.
Okay. So your bar.
Oh my god,
Three,
it really is the
4,
slot machine.
5. A ring bellows throughout this strange ethereal space, and you all receive 8 points of necrotic damage as it pierces your mind.
Oh, great.
Fun.
Rick, how would you like to proceed?
My parents
told
always
you.
told me gambling was bad for me.
I told you, we grab grab Banjo and use his head, use him as a mallet on the bar. Bing!
Can I only do things with the thing in front of me?
Sorry?
Can I only do things with the one in front of me, or
The
can I...
the only one you can see is the one in front of you. Each of you only see one, and you can't see where others are sort of reaching the space or interacting with a particular space. You see nothing there.
All right. It's fairly obvious. We all have to touch them at once. Ready, not Banjo, Garfunkel. Okay. Let's just try this.
Okay, I tried to move it with my mind.
No, I mean with your hands.
Oh,
I will it to move.
I think Banjo's just stepped away.
Well,
Seems
that's
like it.
If you're
That's my
reaching,
ploy. Unless everyone else agrees to touch it, I won't touch it. So I'm just gonna wait until everyone says yes, we'll do the thing all together.
I try to move it with my mind.
you think about moving it.
I think about pulling a slot machine.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 1d6.
One. Yeah.
Oh, what's that? 1. Ooh. You hear almost like trying to think of how I can describe it. You hear but as a ringing in your mind.
And you just see Lotek dancing like a lunatic, spinning an imaginary sword over his head.
At this stage, Lokag, you're thrown out of this ethereal space, and you are back in the room with the strange orb there. But there's no magical field around it for you.
I do the so long sucker motion with my fingers as I leave.
Mother fuck, I touched the thing.
Okay, go ahead and roll 1d6.
Apparently a 1 was the right number.
Yeah.
It comes right back to the bar.
1, 2. Oh, wait. Where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right back to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I touch it again.
Go ahead and roll 1d6.
Wait, he doesn't suffer damage after this back to the...
No, the bar's like a standardized. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and you hear the Final Fantasy leveling up success sound tune through your head, and you find yourself in the space which you entered this time again without the magical field, and
you see
without
Lokag just sitting down
you
on
don't
his
see
leg.
Lokag.
Aww.
You are just in this space currently.
What the
Well,
fuck?
seeing as the other two seem to have gone somewhere, Valkyrie will attempt to manipulate hers again.
Okay. That was there, wasn't it? Yeah, 1, 2. And you hear the succession sound as you are pulled back to a room similar to the one you entered in, without the magical field, without your friends.
Valkyrie's gonna mutter to herself, "You know, I can't help but want to go back in just to find out what else they can do. But it also kind of hurts, so maybe not."
Okay. Do we have Banjo back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. How would you like to react? You are now the last of your party in this room.
I'm just gonna think for a
Logan was the
moment,
first one
and
to
then I'm
figure it out.
going to grab the bar.
Okay. Roll 1d6.
There we go. 3.
1. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Bloody hell. So I was hoping that was going to be so much better.
That's what you get for giving two different key options.
Well, I didn't want it just going on and on and on. Never mind.
True.
So, Banjo, you again are pulled back into the room you entered in. Your friend's still not there. The magical essence around the sphere no longer there. However, for each of you, the room that you currently sit in looks like this, without the magical spheres. And there is a door. For each of you, there's one particular single door.
Why isn't there 3 doors? What's behind door number 1? What's behind door number 2? And
No.
door 3?
Just one door.
If there is
Val-
a single door, I expect everyone has already gone in there, so I'll just keep going in there.
Okay.
Valkyrie is going to approach hers quietly and cautiously.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk straight through mine.
Okay.
I throw a pebble at mine.
As you open the doors, you enter a space. The floor is a rich, clean, pine-looking floor. There's wooden furniture in this space. You see 3 single windows with light coming through. There's a small staircase that seems to lead up to another area. And you hear muttering from upstairs. As you look into this space, you can see the other doors, of which your party are all now standing.
Except Loki, because he threw a pebble at his.
You hear a...
And they may not see Valkyrie.
What's Valkyrie doing?
What do they hear?
Oh, just because she rolled a 25 on stealth.
Oh, okay. You just see like a shadowed area of where where a door would be. But yeah, you hear like a kunk against one of the other doors. That's not open.
I will then stealthily open it.
Okay.
And I think the +10 is still in effect at this point too.
No, I
No,
don't
I think
so.
that dropped down.
Yeah.
Don't forget you had a rest since then.
Oh yeah. You hear a you see a Goliath walk through a door with a Goliath-sized bolt.
Who here has watched Seinfeld?
Oh god.
Yes.
Oh, many moons ago.
I believe this is a Kramer moment.
Oh wow.
I just walk through the door and leave a glass ice.
Okay, so as you see this space, it looks like quite a cozy little home. As I say, you hear mumbling from above.
Do we have our weapons?
Yeah, you seem to have everything you had.
Gee,
before
I've
you
only made
entered.
2 rolls today, and they've both been
Oh.
red.
I remember the hole being 50 feet below, so I could fly up.
Well, the room above this floor, from the ground and the room above, you can. I mean, the ceiling is wooden beaming as well and slats. You can kind of see there are gaps in the wood and floor above, and you can kind of see like there's something moving up there. There's as far as you can make out, there's about 4 individuals in the room above, but the ceiling is only about 10 foot up, 10 foot high.
Oh gee, I'm 8 feet tall. I could pretty much see up there by jumping.
I don't suppose Valkyrie can see clearly enough up there to just shadow step up.
I wouldn't say you could see clearly enough, but you can see forms moving within the gap.
All right, fair enough. Didn't think so.
But there is
So
a
there's no way
staircase.
up. Yeah, there is a staircase. Okay. Yeah, let's walk up the staircase.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go.
As you step onto the steps, Rick, the stairs are very creaky and crickety, and what you would expect from an old type
Insert
shack
Pink
home.
Panther theme.
The muttering and mumbling that you could hear from the room above stops.
I don't care. Hello.
You carry on up to the staircase, and there's like 2 sets of stairs. So as you get to the top of one, it like bends round and goes up, but like back the other way, and you see just a singular wooden door.
If this is an alternate reality, Valkyrie, I think we get to kill 2 people again.
Well, it wouldn't be my first experience with that, so maybe I should take the lead.
All right.
Hello. You're echoing.
But just to be on the safe side, Valkyrie's going to reach into her bag of everything you don't need and pull something out.
Okay, cool. I need to remember my little.
I told you at least once per session.
I need to keep it ready because I'm always forgetting where I place it. Okay, cool. So as you reach in, you feel something thin, long and spindly. As you pick it out, you have like a bright, colourful, like spiral looking candy. This looks like you have a lollipop.
Sweet.
Indeed.
He eats it.
Heck no. Valkyrie's saving that. You never know when you need something sweet to bribe something with.
Yeah, it's rainbow coloured. It's like a flat piece of candy, but it's spiraled round and coiled like a snail shell.
Oh yeah, that should be perfect. Great distraction if the need should arise.
Okay. Who's reaching for the door?
Yeah.
Oh. Valkyrie said she would take the lead, so she will do so.
Okay. As you reach for the door and go to turn the handle, you feel someone else turning the handle at the same time as the door swings open and you see four individuals within this room, each sort of two heads one side of the door and two heads the other. Like, you don't really see their bodies, you just kind of see their heads peer around the corner, like through the door. And they're just completely shocked and surprised to see you.
Hello there.
I
Good day. You're not here to. How did you get here? Sorry, it's been a while.
Well, it was a bit of a gamble.
I believe this is what's called the hero's call to adventure.
Wait, you're not with the Overlord?
No.
Oh, thank God. We thought we'd never see the light of day with those wretched beasts.
We're much worse. We're
We've.
here to rescue you.
That's good to know. We've been in this ethereal space for quite a while. Luckily, Father Doyce knew how to create a sanctuary for us, a magical sanctuary, of course, which, in hindsight, doesn't seem to be working as well as expected.
Well, apparently he liked playing the slots.
Well, that,
I don't think the people came here wanted to visit your love nest, this mystical place that you've made here.
well, it was more a safe escape until people such as yourself came to rescue us. Father Doyce was certain that someone would come. Please, please, come in. Forgive me, I'm Father Malik.
That sounds ominous.
And as you see him, he's tiny. He has a bulbous nose. He has
He's a
very, very erratic looking hair.
Are these all dwarves?
He's a gnome.
Ah,
As you look around the room, you see a feathered-like beast that you haven't witnessed before. You see a human, and you see a dwarf. The dwarf is kind of
Yes.
looking out of another window, just kind of not really interfacing with anything, but just looking out.
Wasn't there someone special we were supposed to save or something?
no. Well, actually, now that you mention it, the quest has no name, but they said there would be survivors here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Ah, yes, that feathered thing must be Father Doyce. I can see now how he must have led you through these perilous times.
No. Father Doyce is in the corner. Father Doyce, it looks like we have visitors. And you kind of hear like a mumble in the distance. You can't kind of make out quite what was said. As for the others, as I say, my name is Father Malik, and these scholars here, this is Maester Fitz, and you see the sort of black feathered plume up, and you see this winged type looking hand reach out for a handshake, and you hear nice to meet you. And this is Ledger Bennett, and a human just sort of nods and looks at you all. Now
I asked him if he has family anywhere nearby.
we have family all over the place, but a lot of family also fell. I mean, Father Doyce is much older than most of us, but most of his family
I was
has already
specifically
passed.
asking the human, but
The human, Ah, Ledger Barnett. No, he. As scholars take up a vow of scholarship, in this citadel they also take a vow of celibacy. Mm, We haven't had word of any of his family that may have lived along the land, so our guess is he is an orphan.
Hey, Nick,
Yes.
would you mind writing down names for those of us who want to take notes, please?
Yes. Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha.
Oh my, how terrible. A vow of celibacy in these dark times. I can see now the dark times ahead of you, with no comforts save your books.
Falker's just gonna roll her eyes and say, "Oh yes, how horrible. You know, not all of us have as much trouble keeping it in our pants as you do."
So, Father Malik kind of perks up again. As do you have a plan for getting us out of here?
I just make a small growl.
And
Yes.
at this stage, Banjo, you would be able to intervene and tell them that you being here isn't by chance, but in fact, over your journey on the way here, you managed to, if you like, recruit some guards to assist you take back the citadel and the Overlord's forces that once rid the citadel area, although now most destroyed, they are dead. At least for now.
I'll say all that. I'll just like butt in and be like,
You hired people and killed all of the creatures outside.
I'm
This
just
is
smiling
really
now.
Banjo. No, this is Banjo in another body. I see. You have
Yes.
developed a brain. This is most impressive.
Garfunkel, basically. I'm. Ben
So what you're
Garfunkel.
saying? So what you're saying is that all our effort to sneak past them without raising a ruckus was completely and utterly pointless.
Well, it sounds better the other way, but yeah.
Well, if everything is dead outside, we can go. Do you have everything you need,
Nope.
Father Malik?
Oh. Thought you were talking to me.
I say, yeah, you need your. I'm like, yeah, you need a dwarf body and some.
Did you
like,
bring your precious books into this dungeon dimension?
Yes, we have an enchanted bag that's carried most of our research.
Did you also bring any pieces of the Star of Ayul in here?
And he kind of looks at you a little bit confused, and in the corner of the room by the window you hear a ha. How do you know? how do you know of the star?
I have a book, and I slam the book on the gnome. It says here.
And
Also, we killed some people.
he kind of begins to walk over. He has like a very small cane, and he begins to walk over. It takes longer than you are comfortable with, but eventually he makes his way over to you, and he takes a looking glass from his pocket, and he begins
You
to
mean the book
look
that
at
was
the page.
thrown at his face?
Rick, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
20.
You do notice there seems to be a arrow-headed looking trinket around his neck.
My dear old man, I appreciate you hiding this artifact for so long. But
I'm sorry. Speak up. Sorry.
Rick, or Ravenite, leans in very closely and like besides his ear, and it's just like, this artifact you've been hiding,
What?
it must shut up. Give it to us.
What?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Speak up, lad. I can't hear a word you're saying.
I
I'm
write,
Banjo.
I write a
Yep.
note. I write a note instead, and it says, "Give us the star." Signed, heroic adventurers with epic destiny ahead of them.
Kind of like looks and he just shakes his head and it's like, call yourself heroes, you. How dare you threaten a defenseless old man?
There were no threats involved.
Yeah,
To
defenseless.
to,
I'm
I,
on-
to,
I
to,
wrote a
to
note
start
and
with,
just ignore this jerk.
to start with, the star has to be formed. It's not just, oh, here's a star. Bloody idiot.
Of course.
And that's why my note, my letter said ignore this idiot.
Old man, we have more pieces. We will gather them all, and then we will consult you.
What?
I write it down. We will gather all the pieces, and then I underline all, including yours.
You wish for my piece of the star?
Your life is in danger.
What?
Underline danger. I just keep writing.
Would just like to note that Valkyrie is just kind of hanging back at the door after the conversation got hijacked from her, is now face palming and shaking her head.
I'm just over where Valkyrie is shaking my head.
Do you want some cream?
I say to Valkyrie, this is going nowhere.
Yes, and yet I can't stop watching.
I know, right?
So, he kind of fiddles around with the pendant that he's created around his neck. It's very basic. It's literally like he's wrapped the chain aspect. The other one, darling. The other one. And it's just kind of wrapped around this arrowhead, but he does begin to unwrap it. And for you guys, where is my?
Do you pull out our pieces and see if they fit?
I
match?
pull out the multicolored pieces and I write, "These are fake?" Question mark.
Um, I don't know if they're fake. I didn't make the star. All I know is that this piece may perhaps be part of the star. And he gives you hold on. He gives you another piece that seems to match one of the pieces you currently already have.
Sweet.
Which for you guys.
Oh no. They're all real. Oh well. I But if you have all you need, we best be going now before the creatures emerge.
What creatures? Weren't they all killed?
Well, you know how it is. Reinforcements, new creatures finding their way through, etc. You can't have a heroic escape without, being beset by the forces of evil.
Maybe, but I really wish we could just for once. It'd be a nice change of pace. It's like, why can't the bad guys ever have their base on a tropical island somewhere?
Sorry, hold on, guys.
It probably has to do with the comfort zone of the hero.
Can you put the other
You
ones
see,
away?
you have to be tested
Fine.
and you have to be challenged with obstacles.
Put the other ones away.
These can usually be physical hurdles or people. And just pointed look at the old man.
What?
They
The
can
hero
also
must
be
overcome
mental.
all challenges.
I suppose that's why I ran into this group.
Okay, so
Valkyrie has this smirk on her face as she says that.
By the way,
I give her a smirk right back.
where would you like to go?
what?
I say to the dwarf, where would you guys like to go?
Father Malik, where would you like to go?
Well, I believe one of the most safest strongholds at the moment is Waterdeep.
I can take you to Waterdeep.
That would be a relief.
Oh, Mr. Hall has fallen.
Good. We just need to find a tree. A tree where druidic magic works on. Should be no problem.
Do we have a problem getting out?
Now, how do we get out?
I believe it's back the way we came. But
Lead the way.
they just go back down the stairs and they pick one of the doors that you entered through.
And there's one of the doors with like the last size hole in it.
All right, let's go, Valkyrie. Us first.
Valkyrie, go ahead.
Yep. So how does the outside of Citadel Adbar look
The outside,
now that the creatures are dead?
it still looks pretty fucked up.
Did any of the people that Banjo brought with him survive?
Yeah, there's about 20 or so individual guards that seem to be picking stones up and moving them out the pathway, and they just seem to be trying to establish some sort of base of operations here and trying to refortify this zone. Doesn't seem to be anyone of authority. They just seem to all be guards that have overheard Banjo's endeavour to try and reach the Citadel again, knowing that that's where he was heading, and a few stragglers just kind of joined him in his travel.
Perfect.
I come out and I just see these ragtag guards and I'm like, really? This is the best you could do? Really? You can get a wheat at the very least?
Now, they got the job done. That's good enough.
Some of them do look quite beefy, but there's no
Yes.
one of like authority here. They're just kind of stragglers, but they're quite formidable nonetheless.
So my question is there a tree that works here?
In the Deadlands, highly doubtful.
At the back end of the citadel, up towards where the Great Glacier would be, sort of the back end of Faerun, you see a very, very smidge from what you can see through the mist, because of course the mist is very, very dense here. You can make out a line of very, very faint green on the mountain tops ledge where the snow begins.
Ah, there it is, Valkyrie. Up there. There's some greenery there. I think we can safely get to. I don't know.
Fine, but you have to convince them to get on. And Valkyrie will start casting a spell for a aerial transport to get us up there.
Okay.
All right, Father Malik. My companion is going to conjure an ethereal steed from the underbelly of a dark dimension, and we will ride it.
Okay.
Have
I best
no
warn
fear.
the others that this is happening, and he kind of
Yes.
like huddles in, and even you can't hear what he's saying to to Father Doyce, but somehow Father Doyce manages to hear what's being said, and then he relays again to the scholars as well.
Ah, that's good. I only have a final question before I release you into Waterdeep. You wouldn't happen to deal with magical trap curses that are somewhat permanent?
Not my area of expertise. What is the curse?
I touched something and I feel as if there is a malaise upon my spirit. Something that affects my overall state, my constitution, if you will.
It sounds quite a bit above our abilities. I feel perhaps there was a lesson here.
I'll show you lessons.
Please, I mean no disrespect. Just perhaps not going around and touching things is such a good idea.
Meanwhile,
Listen,
Rav and
heroic
I go
adventurers
chaotic evil.
are not people who don't take risks. You can't just not touch things. Someone else might touch them. What would they do?
So once I agree with him, her, whatever.
Kind of looks back at you, Valkyrie, confused in the comment. Okay.
Well, if you can't help.
Well, I didn't say I can't help. It's just possibly something I'm unable to have the ability to rectify. But your condition, I've heard something similar along these lines has been dealt with in the past. If I remember rightly, there was a particular spell or a scroll. I believe. What was it?
Remove
I
curse.
think it was a wish spell. Was able to rectify such an ailment.
Well, I'm all out of wishes at the moment.
You sure about that?
Perhaps
Don't you have a
your
ring of 3 wishes?
adventuring journeys may stumble upon a genie.
Yes, I will probably come across a genie at some time.
A ring of 3 wishes. That's really which is really a ring of strangulation.
Well, my powers do allow me to bend reality, but I don't think they're quite that powerful yet.
Okay,
Alright.
I wish Raven I was healed. There you are, you're now healed.
That's not a real wish.
Yep, you're healed.
Real wishes come with sparkles and rainbows and unicorns.
And Raven Eye full of bullshit.
So, as time progresses and the form appears, you all board on this
All aboard.
magnificent steel and iron and metallic beast.
Yep, the helicopter.
The helicopter.
Helicopter. Yeah.
You make your way up to the mountain's edge, and indeed, you do see a series of great ferns that seem to be green and still full
But
of
they're
life.
really treants. But
Perfect.
they're really treants. And now we have to fight.
Let us
Dun, dun,
disembark.
dun.
I shall show you the power of druidism.
Do you just jump off, or because this
I have
most of this
wings.
tree line is on the very edge of this mountain top, and there doesn't
Well,
seem
I
to
have
be any
wings.
other place for your vehicle to land at this stage.
So I can fly down. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Well, Valkyrie doesn't need to disembark, since I'm pretty sure we're just sending them back, not going back with them. So
Yeah.
she
So what
will
I'm thinking is,
get as close to the ground as she comfortably can while maintaining stability.
Okay.
all right. So here's the plan. Lokag will tie a rope through everyone. Everyone will be tied up in a rope, and
I'm now imagining Lokag just like stabbing a rope through people's chests.
No, no. I'm thinking a dwarf and gnome toss.
And let's see. I will. Yeah, that seems fine. Conjuring an air elemental to facilitate transport, and then just kind of like daisy chain them to the tree.
I tie up the dwarf. I go, hey, Rickle, catch! Whee! The dwarf.
What dwarf, sorry?
And then we transport them via plants.
Okay.
Have you never heard of dwarf toss? It's a lot
So
of
it's
fun.
like we have Valkyrie stabilizing the thing. We have the tree, and then a rift opens, and you just kind of chuck them in.
Yep.
As Father Dois is the last end up being tied, he kind of looks at you and says, "Such a pleasure to meet you, young man."
And then I toss the gnome. Whee!
And as he goes through, which is both for you confusing, uncomfortable, as of course at this stage you're not a man.
What the hell?
So
Let's
you
see. As they are flying in the air, it's just like, tell the Lord High Marshal Clyde Rohoff that I sent you.
You just see the Kenku's like feathered hand thumbs up as they go through this space of
I'm
tree.
like, oh, you me. As I throw him through.
Okay, so you managed to save some survivors.
Perfect. We did it, guys. We saved some scholars.
I'm like, hey Rick, come back up.
Yeah, sure. I'll fly up. with you.
I go to grab Rick and see if the portal's still there to throw him.
No, it's not.
Damn. I'm like, oh, I can't toss you through. Oh.
Let's go to Mithril Hall.
Valkyrie, can you roll a
Yes.
perception check for me, please?
Perception?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
As an ancient dragon comes flying in.
Helicopters aren't quiet.
I mean, we can head over here, but it's like
That's not too bad.
I have a 19 passive.
You see, not more.
Well,
than
considering my
about-
passive is 12, that's not too bad.
You see not more than about a mile, maybe two, a humongous shadow, winged shadow, flying in your direction. Huge, in fact.
Valkyrie is going to look down to the others and say, all right, looks like I need to draw some attention away from us. You guys start coming up with a plan, and I'll be back as quick as I can. And Valkyrie will start flying away from them, from the group, as fast as she can.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't worry, I have a plan for this.
So you're attempting to evade said dragon.
Not evade, just draw it away.
Oh, okay.
Until it's probably within 100 feet or so. Well, probably 200 is when you would start casting stuff, but
Oh wait.
so
Look at everyone else.
So
Are we supposed to?
Sorry.
I'm just looking at the other two and saying, are we supposed to hide?
Nah, it's fine. It will chase the helicopter.
Oh,
I
is it what?
stand very still and I spend a minute like camouflaging myself and hide in plain sight.
all right. So once it's got within like 200 feet of the helicopter, Valkyrie is going to cast Fly, Haste, and Greater Invisibility, all extended cast on herself,
I go
Okay.
to
and jump out of the helicopter.
Okay. Yeah, I'll allow that to happen. So as you do that, your helicopter starts to descend as you've ejected from it, and you see the form get larger and larger, and as it passes you, the head of this dragon is about the size of your helicopter. Its scales are like iridescent, like almost like oil slick. They look black to start off with, but as some of the light catches it, it begins to kind of like turn blue and green and reflective of this light. But you are pulled by a little bit, so the force and the friction that would have been caused by passing your form stumbles you out of control, and although you're flying, I do need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
All right. I have Haste on, which normally gives advantage on those.
Yep.
So would that apply here?
Yeah.
I got a 30 stealth hiding in plain sight.
All right, a 19.
You do get pulled, and although you do get caught by some of the scales of this beast, you don't take. You seem to kind of save most of the damage you would have caused, but you do still receive 3 points of slashing damage as you
Nice.
travel past and your form scuttles over the top of some of its scales.
Yeah, as soon as Valkyrie gains control, she is shooting back to the others.
No worries.
And just did the math, and action dash, hasted action dash, with hasted fly speed, Valkyrie would be able to get approximately 4,800 feet before that greater invisibility wore off.
Don't we have to make 3 concentration checks for that 3 damage?
Sure.
Someone wanted to rain on your parade.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
I think you failed all 3. Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
So yeah, Valkyrie shoots back the others and says, "Okay, don't want to do that again."
Yeah, that seems fair. Well, you did it. You pulled the thing away with the helicopter.
You see Ravenai and Banjo, but that's it.
You saved us. With your heroic sacrifice? Question mark.
Yeah, well, I can only summon so many of those each day, so a little bit of a sacrifice.
Little bit.
Anyway, what's our next move? Are we going to fight a necromancer? Go shopping? I don't know what's the plan is with you people sometimes.
We don't really have money. Let's go to Mithril Hall and redistribute some wealth.
I just really want to get my body back.
Do we even know how to do that?
I know.
That
No,
will
we don't.
teach you to get drunk and sign
You know, you
contracts
could have
without
asked
reading
those
them.
amazing scholars what to do, but I suppose we'll just have to wait with that.
Oh! You could have too. Good thing I chucked them through
One
really
of them
fast.
did no greater, not greater restoration.
Whatever it is, he's punching the thing to him.
A new miracle.
Listen,
Resurrection.
yes,
Monkey.
Garfunkel, your body is much better now. It's fine.
No. Don't call me that, please.
Okay, Garfunkel.
Look, I could beat you in the other body. I'm sure I could beat you in this body.
Let's not do this competition now. Anyway,
How about this? We go to Mithril Hall, beat whatever baddie's there, collect whatever money he's built up, then use said money to buy whatever cure you need. How's that sound?
yeah,
Or we get
that
the
is good.
necromancer to kill him and then revive him. And then
Listen, the goal isn't even to kill the necromancer. We're just taking all of his stuff.
No. You get him to kill Garfunkel and then revive him.
The cool thing with this, though, is I can use magic that I can't normally use. So it's quite fun.
Well, then think of this as a learning experience.
Oh, trust me, I won't learn from this experience.
Okay, how about this? You just need to think of it as a grand adventure. Because if you don't, you'll just get really, really depressed.
Do you know what it's like waking up wearing clothes that normally don't fit you?
I believe
And-
this is called
and-
the Rift. refusal of the
Peeing-
call.
They're
It's
peeing out
when
of
the
it.
hero-
Dick,
I
you've
think
never
this is
seen-
called a growth spurt. Yep, a growth spurt.
No! I'm a dwarf, I don't have growth spurts.
Uh,
But you're
It's
an
like-
ugly Humie.
it's like this. Although the hero may be eager to accept the quest, at this stage he has fears that he needs to overcome. Deep-seated personal doubts as to whether or not he's really up to the challenge. When that happens, he has to refuse the call, and he will suffer somehow.
At this point, Valkyrie's gonna pull Banjo to the side if he'll let her.
Yes.
And Valkyrie's going to whisper, listen, you know how Rickle doesn't look like Rickle anymore?
Yes.
Well, he used a certain spell to make that happen. And you know how back when you first got that gauntlet, you and I fought and I wasn't me for a bit?
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
Mostly, yes.
that power was able to get Rickle in the form he wanted. I'm not entirely sure why, but it did. Eventually, I can harness that power myself. I'm just not there yet. So, if worse comes to worse, I can fix you. I just need to figure out more about my powers first. And fighting a necromancer will certainly help do that.
What if I can't fight the necromancer properly in this one?
Well, that's what you've got the rest of us here for.
Okay. Sure.
You just hear in the background, at this crucial turning point, where the hero desperately needs guidance, there will appear a mentor figure.
I summon a mage to cover his mouth.
And then Valkyrie's going to add on, and worst case scenario, Lokag's right. You die and we can just get you resurrected in the right form.
Well, I was thinking to have more like him coming back as a zombie so we can kill him again, but you know, that works too, I guess.
Look, I didn't say it was a good plan, just that it was a plan.
I don't like any plan that involves me dying, to be
Well, don't worry, that's only the backup plan. More of a backup of a backup plan. Plan C or D at most.
I thought it was Plan A.
No.
Okay.
Plan A is go in, kick the bad guy's butt, and then profit? I don't know.
All of the profits to our mercenary group, who are also
So-
heroes.
So you know how they say most people. I
They do
noticed,
say that, don't they?
I noticed Rickle kind of grows on you like a wart.
I was thinking more like a foot fungus.
I was thinking foot fungus was more keg because it just gets annoying. Whereas the warts, it grows on you. You don't necessarily like it, but you don't hate it either.
Fair enough. Regardless, what do you say we go kill a necromancer? Or arrest him? I'm still not entirely sure on the details.
Oh, plus if I lose an arm, at least this isn't my real body.
Exactly.
Or if I get castrated, or if I lose a few toes, or if I go
Ex-
blind. Basically, it's a good good body shield. So,
You know,
Exactly.
the garbage thinks you're garbage. They
Listen.
walk off.
Listen, the mentor figure is crucial at this point. He provides the hero with the expected needs to dispel all doubts and fears, and
I'm
gives
just walking
the
down the
hero
mountain.
the strength and courage
There is
to
one
continue the quests.
There is one thing we need to consider, though. I don't want to have another dragon chase me today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. So it's going to be a long walk.
Yeah,
Worst
that's
comes to
fine.
worst, I can turn us invisible. Oh! Mm. Never mind. Don't want to waste that.
I'm already walking down the mountain.
Yeah, let's go. We'll just follow the mountains.
So yeah, we're just going to start walking, I guess.
Okay.
Then we'll camp in the Glimmerwood.
You know, oddly, for a body that is larger and has longer legs, I'm a lot slower than normal.
I did notice that. It's weird.
It's kind of tripping me out. That's probably the thing I dislike the most.
Maybe you're just used to taking more steps than the other body?
No, not really. You just, well, not that I've noticed. Also, I kind of feel just as strong, which is also disconcerting because I thought in my normal body I was like super strong.
Huh. Well, I can't do much about the strength. I could make you faster if you wanted, but it wouldn't last very long.
Oh no, that's fine. I can do that myself.
All right. Out of character, I just have to say I'm so happy I got to use several Skullduggery Pleasant quotes in that little spiel there that I'd been waiting to use.
Are any of you using rope?
I got a 26 stealth going down.
Sorry, what was that, Nick?
Are any of you using rope?
To walk
happy.
down the pathway?
It's not really a pathway. You're on a mountain edge.
Valkyrie-
We're on the edge, right? So we just go down the mountain on the opposite side. We go up and around.
You want to go up?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
like we don't go down. We
Okay.
just go.
Are you
like
using rope to go up?
I would like to point out Valkyrie probably still has like 18, well, probably close to 15 minutes of her fly spell left, so she's good
That's fine.
for the moment.
I have wings, so I'm good. It's only
Okay.
Loki again.
I'm
Okay,
quite
cool.
athletic, but I'm fine.
So
Yeah,
for
but you should still
for
have
I got
those-
2 hand axes I can climb down with.
For those of you that are climbing without the correct climbing gear, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I got a rope and 2 hand axes to get down. Or up, or whatever we're doing.
I got rope, but that's it. So I guess dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
Would a rope and 2 hand axes make any difference?
Not really.
I have a +4. This I should just add that to all my saving throws. Where is it? Plus.
You know,
Oh,
there's
yeah, that's right.
that's
You
an
have a
aura,
paladin
so
aura.
it hits me too.
Yep, it does. So yours is actually a 16. Oh, what the fuck? Hold up. That's not supposed to do that. So this is just +4. So 8. Holy crap. That's irritable.
Okay.
Seeing them struggling, Valkyrie's going to do something, but maybe not in time to prevent damage.
Sure, no worries. As it's only your start of climbing, won't be so harsh. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you fall from your grip. As you begin to attempt your climb, you lose grip very early on. You fall onto your back.
Oh.
Yeah. seeing that they're struggling a little bit, Valkyrie's going to fly down, drop her fly spell, and then recast it at 5th level. So herself, Banjo, and Lokag, and extended cast it. So all three of us have a 20 minutes of a 60-foot fly speed.
Okay, good to know.
I thought a 16 was enough not to take damage.
Well, regardless, just solving the issue.
So, okay, as you carry both Lokag and Banjo up, you can get
Well,
about
carry.
60 feet. There is a ledge at 60 feet that has a carried round pathway, so you're able to do that.
Well, it lasts for 20 minutes, so.
The pathway is very narrow and it walks around the edge of the cliff edge. It's not really designed for transport or travel. It's probably used for people that are used to rock climbing around the cliff edge. So it is very unstable.
It's a good thing none of us are walking then. I'm sorry I broke your mountain.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry, but I'm smiling.
You guys chose to go up the mountain. I didn't choose you to go there. So as you make your way, you do come to a place that seems that is more accessible by foot and becomes more easily to travel around. You can see that it begins to creep downwards in a very long slope down into the Glimmer Wood in the distance. You can just barely make the tops of the trees up through the dense mist that still enshrouds this land. But the sun, or what you've become familiar with being evening now, begins to fall and become darker as it does so.
All right, if it's taking that long, I assume Valkyrie's probably going to have to do at least one more casting of fly in order to get us all over to there.
Okay. So you want to make your way all the way to the outskirts of the Glimmer Wood.
We want to make our way to a good spot to camp for the night.
Sure, no worries. It does take you a good part
And-
of a few hours to get there, but once you're there, you do see sort of like a laid out log area that seemed to have been used as a camp at one point in its life. Just on the outskirts, you see like a pathway into the Glimmer Wood before that point.
And just as a note, that last casting was at 6th level, so Revenai's fly speed was doubled for a little while.
No worries, okay.
Because I believe it's normally 30 for you.
Yeah. That is true.
So, as night falls and you reach a safe area to camp, is there anything you wish to do before that point?
Valkyrie's been concentrating on spells like non-stop for half the day, so she's going to want to probably sleep for right away.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hide in plain sight, sleep, because I'm not moving.
So, Garfunkel.
Are you able to do that since you're not technically moving?
Definitely DM's discretion, but I think it would depend on whether you set it up before you went to sleep or not.
Oh, I would.
Oh, man.
Basically, just be disguising your tent, I guess.
Yeah, I can wild chip into an eagle, so this is fine.
Okay.
So we'll.
But before Valkyrie goes to sleep, she's just gonna summon a camper with a level 2 spell and go to sleep in that.
shit, the camper.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, realizes he did that. Well, he's just gonna sleep under the camper.
Under the camper. All right. I make a space for me and Garfunkel. Let's see. Plus guidance.
For some reason, I forgot how to make a tent. It kept falling apart every time I tried to make it.
24. 19.
I'm assuming it's obvious you're making.
Yep. It's just me and you who have open campfires and sweets,
Okay.
Right, I'll just sit there.
bedrolls, and a tent.
I got a bedroll. My bedroll's just underneath the camper. And I eat a ration for dinner. Nom nom nom.
Who's taking first watch?
I can take first watch.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll your perception check for me.
Sure thing. 21.
Nice. Okay. You do in fact hear something. You hear something deep within the woods, and you hear something not far from behind you in the snows. You can hear like the crushing of the snow, so you can hear like footprint types or animal footprints. It kind of hears a.
I'll take out my battle axe,
Mhm.
cast invisibility on myself,
Mhm.
and I'll sneakily go check out what it is.
Okay. You
I hope he again.
kind of walk through away from the camp a little bit, and you can make out there's a very tiny fox, like an Arctic fox, big pointy ears, bushy tail, and it's kind of pushing snow around with his nose, sniffing around, moving a little bit, and he kind of stops, and his tail begins to sway. His legs recoil into his form, and he jumps about 10 foot into the air as he then slams his head into the snow.
I'm just gonna like give a really weird look, but no one sees it because I'm invisible.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna go to the area deep in the forest for which I hear noises.
Okay. As you turn and head back to the woods, you pass the camp. You head in the direction you heard the noise.
Yes.
You see, because of course how dense the fog is, you see 15 individual forms passing it's quite a ways from where you are, but you can just make out, you see one form pass, and another form pass, and another, and another, and you see all these individuals making their way through the woods. And just as you think it must be a march or like forces going through, you see a huge form pass with them at the back.
Are they going away from the camp, or
Yeah, they're kind of just walking like across the woods rather. They're not in your direction.
I'm gonna get closer. I wanna get a look at it.
Okay. You are invisible, but I do need a stealth check from you.
Will I get an advantage because of the stealth? Because of the invisibility.
Indeed, you do.
What
20.
armor are you wearing?
Oh, you're correct. I would normally have disadvantage, so 16.
Okay. You kind of maneuver through the fog and the woods, and you step, and as you do, you hear
Shit.
and a form sort of stops, and the best you can make out, the head seems to look in your direction,
I stay very still.
and even though this form seems humanoid, kind of lifts its head and kind of and stops, sniffing the air. He looks back at the rest of the group. He gives a and you see two others leave the group but fade out of view. He joins the group again and they continue on their way.
I'm just gonna slowly walk back to the camp,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna go directly in the area. I'm gonna stay maybe 200 feet away,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna sit down.
Okay.
I'm gonna kick my shield, battle axe ready, and I'm just gonna be looking around,
No worries.
right as I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, a few hours pass.
Oh yeah, I would have
Yeah.
then changed shift, and I would wait. I would have oh, I'd wake up and just say, there are things nearby. Two of them split from their group. I think they caught a scent. We should be careful. And then I'm going to put out the fire.
I think they kind of said totally wasn't mine.
I'm going to put out the fire.
You realize that if you put out the fire, the smoke will just attract them to this location, right?
All right. Well, I'm not sitting around the campfire. And I'm just going to get... Well, I'm going to keep my armor on. I'm just going to sleep. Or I'll probably have a light. Like, I'm going to sleep, but I'm probably not going to have the best of rest. Being a bit edgy. Yep, that's it.
Hey, being edgy is Valkyrie's job.
I meant twitchy.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Well, I'm the second watch, so
Okay. Go ahead and roll
That's
your
all good.
perception.
all right. Let's see. Perception with guidance. 17.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You hear similar footprints in the snow, scuttling around. I would imagine as your experience in this kind of environment that you know it's some small animal just trying to survive.
Oh yeah, I might. No, I'm just gonna let it try to survive.
Um, Nothing else seems to happen.
Yeah. So she will knock on the trailer park camping wagon
Mm-hmm.
and ask if Valkyrie can take the next watch.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Go ahead and roll your perception check for me, Valkyrie.
And tell her that there's animals in the snow.
Alrighty. Yeah, hearing that there's animals in the snow, Valkyrie apparently ignores all the sound she hears.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah. As you take your watch and you see the burning embers glowing from the fire that was put out, you hear the bzz, 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 and you see like half a dozen small little insects begin to sort of hover around the area like they would at this time of night. Lokag, as you're asleep, could you roll a perception with disadvantage for me, please?
I'm under the camper, but okay.
I know exactly why I'm asking you to do this. Okay.
Nope. No clue.
Can I say that Valkyrie passes her, or at least until something happens, passes the time just using the gust cantrip to mess with the bugs?
Yeah, sure. As you lay in your slumber, Lokag, you feel something in your sheets with you. As you begin to stir, you don't quite make too much sense of it, but then, pow! You get some sort of bite on your torso as it wakes you.
What is it?
You look down, and it seems to be some sort of beetle with pincers.
I just pick it up and flick it.
Okay.
Oh no, Lokag's gonna become a werebeetle.
How did you know?
Well, it was either that or Beetle Man.
Okay. The rest of the evening seems to pass by without any interruptions.
Meanwhile, that 4 damage I took heals.
Yeah, Valkyrie will wake Lokag up for his watch when the time comes.
Sure. Actually, Lokag, the bite it's a bit irritable. You begin to like scratch the area over the next few hours.
Are you gonna do a nature check to see if this is like some sort of infectious bite?
No. Yeah, that's my watch perception. I just don't give a shit.
I hope everyone slept well.
I'm too busy scratching my bite.
Yep. As day breaks and everyone begins to wake,
There's an 8-foot-tall beetle.
Lokag, you take 1 point of damage.
1 whole point.
1 whole point.
So, Lokag, I assume the last watch went nicely.
Eh.
Okay then.
You see him scratching his chest.
Are you feeling all right?
Beetle bit me.
A beetle, you say? Mind if I take a look?
Sure, I opened up my chest hair.
Okay.
The bite itself that you look at, Rick, seems to be like 2 like puncture marks side by side on his chest. They're red at this point, and the area around it is like inflamed a little bit. Best you can suffice at just looking at it is possibly it's where Lokag's been scratching at it. As you look closer, you can see that the redness around is like pulsating, like something seems to be under the skin.
Okay, I need you to hold still for a while.
Okay.
And I will expertly maneuver a knife and try to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
I don't even flinch.
Survival.
All right.
Sorry, no, medicine check. Sorry, I forget about.
I was about to say,
I forget about medicine.
he's not harvesting Lokag.
11.
Okay. What blade are you using?
It's
Dagger. I think it's a-
it's a regular skinning knife.
Let's give it one.
So a dagger.
We'll do that.
But I take 4 damage.
You take 4 damage from Rick carving a hole in your chest.
The important question is, does he stop scratching?
No.
Does it look
Interesting.
like there's a poison there?
Let's see. Do I think it's a poison, or is it like it's laid eggs in him or something?
Could be a disease.
Yeah, with your 18, it appears to have laid some sort of eggs within him.
Right.
We'll get them out.
Yeah, we'll get them out. We'll try again.
I could just cut it off.
I'll give him the help
Yeah,
action.
well, it's fine. I don't think any of us have trained in medicine.
I'll give you the help action.
I mean,
You know,
already helping.
I haven't trained in medicine, but I have trained in magic, and so have you. Why are you just using a knife?
What do you mean, not use a knife?
You're a master of nature magic, aren't you? Surely you've got some trick up your sleeve that can fix that without carving him up.
I suppose. And I cast Lesser Restoration from the pendant around my neck.
Okay.
To cure a condition. The
Yep.
condition is eggs have been laid in him.
Yeah. I will allow it.
All right.
It does say that it can end a disease as well, so.
Yeah. And I cure him, level 1, 12.
Okay. Well done.
I just didn't want to waste my nature mojo this early in the morning. Besides, he can handle it, big boy. And I slap him on the bicep and go.
I spank you on the bottom.
Valkyrie just rolls her eyes and starts walking.
I'm like,
We've got a long ways ahead yet. Let's get moving.
reflex.
I mean, you do the thing. I'm not dodging that. All right. Banjo, what did you see anything in the night? Everything was quiet. Valkyrie.
Told you what I saw when I woke you up.
Well, there were a few bugs buzzing around the remains of the fire, and I practiced some wind magic on them, but that's about it.
I saw these 15 figures walking in this big fuck off thing, and then two of them split from the group.
Banjo's imaginating.
I believe him. He told me the same thing when he woke me up for the thing.
Yeah, I don't
Well-
believe him. He's imagining things.
Well, they don't seem to have found us during the night, so we should just keep an eye while we move and hope that they went in a different direction.
I was invisible at the time, thank God, because I may have accidentally alerted.
That's fine.
Well, that makes it even more miraculous they didn't find us.
Yes.
Just remember, Banjo, your body might not be at stake, but ours are, so do try to be a little more careful.
Oh, it's fine. I was quite a while away from you guys.
I think that's more than fine.
So you left the camp that you're supposed to be watching to go fuck off somewhere and leave us in danger from random shit?
I was checking out the strange noise nearby, making sure it was nothing lurking against us, and it wasn't. So I returned.
Note to self: don't trust Banjo with watch.
Well, no harm, no foul. Let's just keep moving.
Yes, we have a necromancer to go to. When we are in the Glimmerwood, do we see this trail of people?
Oh yeah, there's seems to be some sort of
Wanna know the funny
pathway,
thing, Rick?
walkway through the woodland area, not necessarily the one that you've taken. It seems to have been quite active over the past several months. There are like wheel marks from carts that may have passed through this zone. Several carts, in fact, at once seem to be holding quite a hefty amount of weight, as the divots in the dirt are quite deep. Some of the upper sort of tree line area, even though it's kind of obviously dying anyway, decaying at this stage, seems to be kind of maneuvered out of the way from some sort of large beasts passing through this same pathway.
Bokeg knows lesser restoration.
Well, then you shouldn't have made Rickle do all the work for you.
Well, he has to be useful sometimes.
I thought I was just the hero of the story, the person who's absolutely useless, unless I need.
Yeah, I wanted you to feel needed.
I like to be needed.
So, do you progress further into the woods?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Again, gets you about midday. Gets you about.
The idea is to go straight into the mountainside and then maybe find one of the side entrances to the citadel instead of heading into the main entrance, which is obviously going to be super guarded.
The Mithril Hall is surrounded by a small, low-bearing wall with three different main doors, but once you're into the inner sanctum of that, it's just one large staircase and one very large door that enters you into the towers and surrounding vicinity and inner Mithril Hall.
Sure, but it's dwarven made, so they have side entrances to the place. Well, they're bound to have, because that's what dwarves do.
Not Mithril Hall.
Has some rear entrances.
They had entrances into Lurkwood, so they should have entrances somewhere here.
There's entrances that you can take
You know-
to Lurkwood to get close to Mithril. Reading it.
Just saying, fly is a wonderful spell.
It's not long until you actually come across the same sort of area that you once did previously on the way to the Citadel, and you see that the destruction of trees around you, you see the bloodstains of the dead that once were there that seem to have been dragged off in several different directions.
Lovely.
Well, at least we know we're going the right way. We can head through the main entrance, that's fine. Though I can stone shape a little bit of a way in.
Okay, as you continue, you come through. Night falls once again, but on your way to looking or trying to secure a nice sort of place to set up camp, you do hear like almost like wind rushing, but it's like a beat, so it's like
Oh god, take cover. Okay, hide us in the shadows.
Okay, cast Without a Trace on me, Valkyrie, and Trickle.
Garfunkel too.
No, you don't know who I'm casting it on.
Oh, come on.
Nope, I'm not doing it. He's been bad mouthing me lately. He deserves it.
Okay, so we become 10 plus 10 to our stealth, and Garfunkel has to make himself invisible on his own. So let's roll some stealth.
good thing you've got
That's
that
20.
Martial Without a Trace.
Oh yeah. Guidance.
Valkyrie managed to cast invisibility without a spell slot, apparently.
Yep.
Nat 20 for 37.
Are we all stealthing, sorry?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm standing still, so I should have 10 on.
If we're
top of
doing
it.
that, I'll cast an invisibility.
Okay.
So it's a normal check. Plus 10, right?
Nope.
No, not for you, unfortunately.
Okay,
But you do-
15.
You get advantage because of stealth, right? Oh, right. And then
Is
this
it plus the
Disadvantage.
invisibility or?
I have yeah, I did. So disadvantage because armor, advantage because of invisibility.
So
You do know dragons have true sight, right?
Only if they get close enough.
They don't have
So-
true sight. They have blind sight. It's completely different.
as you all kind of hear the sounds, you duck for cover and attempt to hide in the shadows. You see from the mist, you see a darkened veil shadow as it hits the ground with a thud. It kind of, the ground shakes. You see the back end of this dragon looking over. You can't. The rest of the body kind of fades into the mist and just turns into shadow. But it completely makes this area completely black. And all you can make out is the back end of the tower that kind of literally just passes your feet, Valkyrie, like maybe 3 to 4 inches away from your toes. But the tail is as tall as you are, thick, muscular. This one seems to have dark crimson like. I'm trying to think of the word.
You?
No. It has dark red crimson plates that seem to glimmer with like a hint of gold flecks to them. And as you all stand there, silence and to the best of your knowledge, hidden, the tail slivers away as it begins to creep through this back end of the woods. But it walked away from you, almost as if it's heading in the direction of the citadel again.
Once it is out of sight, Valkyrie's going to whisper, "So, who's up for going inside right the fuck now?"
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that's good. No, I'm joking.
Oh my!
It's a good thing you did what you did with the older, the priest. By the way.
Yes.
It's a good thing we did what to the priest?
Got rid of him and didn't bring him here. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, evening passes. The dragon kind of creeps off in its own way. You sneakily make your way a bit deeper in before the final night falls. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a clearing for a decent camp, but you do find like a little raised area that you can kind of each sit around, but the trees are very close together at this stage.
Aw, no camper tonight.
Well, I have a tent for 2.
So, who's taking first watch?
Valkyrie will go ahead and take first watch tonight.
Okay.
Because she's very on edge after that.
I also go to tent.
Sweet. We now have 2 tents.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your
My
perception.
tent is
Yeah.
Exactly the same as last night. Valkyrie's great at everything except perception.
Yeah, although you do get distracted by something you feel is rather entertaining as you sit there within the patch of land that you can see that's not enshrouded by this mist. You see a very small, almost, it's clearly disease ridden, but you see like a forest mouse, and it kind of sniffs around at some of the decaying like grass and dead grass that's there. And it's kind of like picking at it a bit. And before you even have a chance to take in what happened, an owl comes out of nowhere, claws bare, picked up this mouse and is just vanished into the mist.
Valkyrie's just gonna like pull a disgusted face and say, "Ugh, good riddance."
nothing else seems to happen as far as you can perceive.
She'll go ahead and wake up Lil Cag for second watch.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use the netted 2-man tent. It's specifically bug repellent.
Sweet. Yeah, it's just me and Garfunkel in my tents. That's fine.
Yeah, the man you slept with that one night.
Yep.
Perception, please. Okay,
I see everything.
you do.
That man you slept with that one night. What do you mean one?
So, as you sit there, you kind of glaring around, trying to take watch. You begin to hear like the turning of wheels, and you hear, you can feel the vibrations of footprints. And as you sort of narrow your eyes to try and focus through the mist, you can see shadowy forms begin to project. They must be 90, maybe 100 foot away from you in the distance, but you can just barely
Are
make
they
them out.
heading in our direction?
No, they seem to be walking across your direction, out onto that main road again that seemed to have been being used recently over the several months.
So they're heading away from us.
Yeah. And
Okay, I'll
you
just stand
see-
perfectly still and camouflage myself.
Sure. To begin with, you see an extremely you see a large beast, four-legged, big, large, bulbous central area, and an almost like snake-like nose at the front, and it seems to be carrying or pulling 3 separate connected carts, or at least from the shadows, that's what you can make out.
Okay, so it's a dragon.
Behind them,
Gotcha.
you can see like other sort of humanoid forms following the carts along. You see another 2 large, monstrous-looking beasts behind, and then you see the same thing follow. So it's almost like a rolling image. You see this mammoth-like beast pulling these carts and flowing through this road, but there must be 4, maybe 5, even 6 of these convoys passing through with these carts. But other than that, nothing else seems to happen. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm just gonna do a stealth with my hide in plain sight.
Yeah. I don't think.
So 24.
I don't think you need to stealth because your watch is over. So.
I wake up. Rick.
My turn.
I then go back in my tent.
Guidance.
I let him know about the dragons and the carts and whatnot before I go to bed, but that's it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. In fact, Rick, you can still see this convoy in action. It's still remaining. It goes on and on.
It's a big convoy, you say?
Yeah, from the time it took from Lokag witnessing it to the end of his watch, 6 of these convoys have passed, but they're currently still passing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure the troops at the border can hold them. It'll be fine.
Oh, give me 1 sec. Hold on. 1 moment.
I mean, we could disrupt this convoy, but it's like maybe it would be worth it, maybe not.
Chichirara in a minute.
Hello. Did we lose Maltose?
Oh, okay. I'll put Chichirara on. You gonna talk to Mummy? She's not had a nap, by the way.
Let's see, how far would we be from Silvery Moon?
Okay. Back and back and back and back.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Oh.
one thing. How far by air would it be to get to Silvery Moon?
You could probably make it there by late afternoon-ish. But then you could do the same via Mithra.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at conjuring an air elemental with 90 feet of movement speed
Uh-huh.
in the air, and I'm thinking I could write a report about the movements in the Glimmerwood
Mm-hmm.
and our successful mission, and I
Mhm.
could send it by air elemental to Silvery Moon.
Yeah, you most certainly could.
So I will do that. Yep.
Okay.
I'll write up a letter and conjure an air elemental and send it packing straight to Silvery Moon. And of course, I put it to, let's see. I mark it with Mugsmaul, the symbol of Mugsmaul, and address it to, let's see, what is his name? No, it's not Captain Hawksworth. It's not the Lord Marshal. Why didn't I write down the name of this guy?
Silvery Moon?
Yeah.
Terry Flanagan.
Ah, there you go. Lance Corporal Terry Flanagan. To Lance Corporal Terry Flanagan. Citadel Adbar evacuated. To Waterdeep. Let's see. Father Doyce, Father Malik, and Maester Fitz and Ledger Burnetts, along with assorted scrolls, books, and knowledge. Scouting out the massive troop movements in Glimmerwood. Overlord's forces amassing for some sort of operation, and sort of detailing out that perhaps they will hit the northern flank to try and get Silvery Moon back. Also saw Dragon, big ancient flecks of gold. Much love. The Four Seasons.
Okay.
And stamp it with a kissy face and send it over.
No worries. Okay. Have we lost Valkyrie?
Yeah, we did.
She had internet issues.
Okay, so yeah, message most definitely sent.
Yep, and then I wait the rest of the hour that I have for watch and wake up. Reluctant hero, not Garfunkel.
I'm here.
Hey, Garfunkel. No, wait. Banjo.
No,
It's your
Yes.
Garfunkel.
It's your turn to take watch. It's the last watch. There's a bunch of troop movements in the forest right now. Try not to, stray too much.
Sure thing, chicken wing.
You know, you technically wouldn't be unfaithful since it's the wrong body.
What?
No, never mind.
Are you trying to hit on me?
No,
I'm insight checking that shit.
She's totally lying through.
Oh, that's even
All
better.
right. All right, that's fine.
that is, unless you want me to hit on you, which wouldn't be totally awful.
I'm good.
I think you are. Have a nice watch.
I will.
Don't forget, she's tasted you.
And I have my watch.
Okay, roll your perception, please.
That one.
Hey! I see through the fabric of time.
Yeah.
Yet you couldn't see through the lie.
So, as Rick described to you, yeah, there most certainly is some sort of convoying activity on the way out of Mithril Hall by the seams of the direction of the paths, and would be the best you can perceive to where the directions it's likely to be going in. It's either going to the citadel from where you've just come from, or it's going in the direction of Sundabar. It's that sort of general direction that this pathway seems to be going around. But to no avail, nothing else seems to be occurring.
Alright. I'll just keep watching, make sure nothing interesting pops out.
Mm-hmm.
Your belly. Nope.
So, as the rest of the evening goes by, and the best of it can possibly be in terms of daylight seems to revisit this land. It is now day. I
Yep.
guess you continue your journey to Mithril Hall.
We do
No,
that.
we go back where we once came from. Of course, we go forward.
Is it there?
Whoa! Suddenly we're over there.
Yeah. I will say, as you begin to sort of try and bypass this main road, as the morning comes, the convoy is well and truly over. So whatever was occurring or coming out of Mithril Hall is on its way to wherever its destination is meant to lead to.
Yep.
There
We're
is
gonna-
A lot of dragon.
there is a small break in the stream above the area of Glimmerwood and Mithril Hall, which you manage to bypass over without any trouble, and you make your way to Mithril Hall. You can see the through some of the breaks in this mist. You can see like turret formations and sort of building-esque kind of forms within this mountain wall, because Mithril is built into the mountain itself, rather than being a building separate. It's built into this mountain. You see the stone wall, the low-bearing wall that seems to go around the edging of Mithril, and you can see a side main gate that has been breached. It's wide open. The tracks lead from out of that doorway and into as well. It seems it's been going back and forth for several months, and there is it sort of leads down the way, and some of you may remember from either reading it in books or from tales that you've heard that there's a small transport bridge that is there that would be able to get them across the river, and that seems to be the route that they've taken. But for now, the outskirts of this hall is barren, bare. Doesn't seem to have any activity at this moment in time. But it is becoming much darker.
Well, there are two things. We can do this. We can try to stealth in, or we can knock on the door and see who guards it. What do you think? Totally not Garfunkel.
I was
Talking
muted.
to
Fuck.
Garfield.
That's depressing. I was gonna say, I would rather not make the decision because if it goes bad, I don't want to be the one who, did it. So you choose, Rickle. You never steer us wrong.
I understand that you might feel some reluctance. After all, you're on part 3 of the hero's journey. The sort of refusal to call.
Oh no,
The
don't
need for a man.
stop,
Yes,
stop,
I
stop.
understand. Well, these are rocks carved into the side, right?
Sure.
You said that the gates were open?
So the loan-bearing gates, just on the outside, before you meet the main door of the hall, it's kind of like a grounds. There's a small stable area, or was a small stable area. There's a couple of huts that would have been like work hands or some sort of help, maybe. A lot of it is just desolate now, dust, dirt. But as you see the large staircase lead up, there is a large golden-esque looking, thick, heavy door.
Is the door open, or does it look like it's been sealed?
It's shut, but doesn't seem to be like a lock or anything. It's just two large kind of like hooped handles, steel hooped handles on each door.
Well, I will conjure an earth elemental. I spend a minute doing that. I put down the clay bowl and focus my nature magic inside the clay bowl, and you see the earth shaking and rumbling, and like some sort of like from the bowl rises to like fists of solid rock that sort of like pull this creature out of the earth. And it has this clay bowl as like a hat, and it looks kind of sexy in a weird elementally way. And she just looks at the door and she says, "Pull," and the thing grabs the opening like the handles and starts pulling.
Yeah. As the
Sorry about dropping out, guys.
It's alright, no worries. As the door slowly opens, you can see this grand-esque hallway has two staircases either side of a wooden-esque door at the rear. Seems to be a pillar with a magical essence emanating from the middle of the room, surrounded by four sort of fire pits to light the room, and seems to be like a form in the room, kind of like twitching away to itself in this room.
Oh god, it's a puzzle. So describe the room again.
It's like a large, grand opening room. Two staircases each side of this room lead up. The lower ground floor is centered. There's a wooden door at the rear, a centered pillow with a magical aura emanating from it, and four tall standing fire pits with a humanoid form twitching in the room by itself.
Ah, I see. Well, I tell the earth elemental to step into the room at the base, like here. And I follow it behind it
I'll do
to
this
step
one.
in.
Yep.
And you say there's a form twitching on the ground.
There's like a humanoid form within the room, standing, twitching by itself, facing away from you.
And these pillars or flames.
They're just like tall, standing fire pits illuminating the room.
And this thing
Is some sort of magical orb.
All right. I tell the earth elemental to douse the flame to the right.
Okay.
As in, it will just douse it, and then I tell it to go to the other side. And I'm assuming when it gets there, the twitching figure will either notice it or ignore it. So the earth elemental will just douse these four fires.
Let's see where this is going. Okay. So as it passes, it will take an attack of opportunity. 1 moment. Oh, no, it won't. Sorry, it's that. It's not that. It's that.
it's like hitting rock, and the Earth Elemental just kind of shrugs it off. It's like it's got resistance to all sorts of damage, so it's like 1.5 damage total.
Mhm.
And it'll keep doing what it's being told, so it'll douse the fire.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the magical orb. Did anything change?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'll just tell the Earth Elemental to get rid of the popper. That's fine.
Okay.
It just needs to hit him once, and it has 2 attacks.
Sure.
So I think that thing will die.
I'll get back on roll 20 as quick as I can, guys. I'm still having internet issues. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
And then I tell it to open the next door. This one.
This one? Yeah.
Yep.
It dissipates and disappears. The light from the orb glows brighter.
Anti-magic. Well, let's roll a 1d2. 1. Let's head up. Let's go, guys.
So you're going up the stairs. You have left and right. That is, of course, if you're not opening doors.
You said there were 2 stairs. I
Yep.
mean, we can see the stairs.
Yep.
So we'll just I picked one at random. I think that's just more than fine. Unless
I chuckle. I'm like, really?
there doesn't seem to be any indication what to do here. No dwarven runes. No.
I'm like, really, Rick? You're not gonna open the door?
Well, any runes that you could see that once were carved into the walls here seem to have been like demolished or like destroyed or kind of disfigured in ways. So like it looks like someone's taken a heavy hammer to them, or like magical forces, and sort of defaced these runes so they no longer are active.
I dingle a skeleton key in his face and go, really?
I don't think it's the problem with. I mean, by all means, Lokag, try to open the door.
Nah. That's like reminding you I have it.
All right. Well, we'll see what's at the top floor first. So we'll investigate the staircase and start moving upwards.
Yeah,
I know. Let's see. I know Valkyrie has investigation too, but I'll take the lead on searching for traps because of the disconnect. With Valkyrie helping me fully understand.
Valkyrie would be happy to investigate, but somebody else would need to roll.
Yeah. So investigate the stairs and this archway.
Yeah,
this
the stairs don't seem to be trapped in any way. However, when you get to the top of the stairs, one moment, and I can get it to work. As you reach the top of the stairs, you see a bunch of figures turn to your direction. Their heads crick a little bit. I need you to roll initiative as you're faced with some zombies.
All right.
Okily dokily. Do we have tokens?
Yeah, you have your token at the bottom there.
I cannot see my token.
You should be able to see it. But
No.
if you're not, it's in the
Well, at
bottom
least
right.
I don't have access to it.
Hold on.
Can we roll initiative?
You need to roll initiative. Hold on.
I'm going last.
And we need to roll for Valkyrie.
Why can't I find your character sheet?
I don't know why Valkyrie Kane is a hobgoblin, but
What have we gone to?
Hold on, darling. Wait a minute.
What have we gone to?
You want something else on the telly? Banjo, what's your character sheet name now?
Totally not Garfunkel.
Totally. That's
What
why I
have we
can't find
gone
it.
to telly, Daddy?
Hold on, darling. I'll do it for you. Totally not Garfunkel. There you go. There you go. There you go. You should have access to it now.
There we go.
Coolio. Hold on, let me sort this little lady out. Which one do you want on? Tell me which one.
Really? You're a hobgoblin, Ravenai?
That one.
That one?
yeah, I don't know why Ravenai is a hobgoblin, but apparently she is. No, that's not me. That's Valkyrie's sheet.
I don't know why it does that. And I need to sort out these for these. Where was mine rolls? 18. 18. Six. Okay. Okay. Top of the stairs. Seems to be 4 zombie-like undead creatures now heading in your direction or facing your direction for this time.
Okay, and I'm behind Valkyrie and someone else. Alright, I'll pull out my bow and shoot one.
Okay.
This one, I guess.
Mhm.
Twice.
Okay. Yep. Which one? This one here?
Yep.
Okay.
For a total of 16 damage.
Yep. Okay.
That's my turn.
Valkyrie.
Yeah, I know roll 20 is a bit jank right now. Valkyrie. But we're fighting some skeletons and some zombies. This shouldn't be too hard. Oh,
Testing, testing. Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Sorry about that. Don't know what happened there.
that's alright. You have a series of 4 zombies in front of you. In position, one after the
Take
other.
3. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So Valkyrie is just going to pop a second level Shadow Blade and throw it at whichever one's closest. Assuming these look like regular skeletons and zombies. Moving within 20 feet if necessary to avoid disadvantage.
I'm trying to bring up your sheet now. I can't think it.
I should be back in just a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Things are finally starting to work again.
yeah, you're within 20 feet.
But don't forget these are a little bit different here.
True.
Let's say that one is within 20 feet. That one right there, just
Yeah,
barely.
she said the closest one. So
Yeah. Did you say second level blade?
Yeah, just second level, assuming they look like regular skeletons.
Well, they look like it, apart from their eyes are much different colour to what you're familiar with. They seem to be glowing some sort of purpley clouded essence.
In that case, she'll pop the third level that's currently stored in her ring.
Okay. We'll do that one instead then.
Yay, roll 20 is fine, loading back up.
shit. Well, you rolled a 3.
I believe it's probably dark enough I'll have advantage thanks to it being a Shadow Blade.
Not in that room.
Okay.
In the room you're in is dark enough, but the room it's going into is quite well lit.
Well, okay then.
Sorry to say.
I can call it back to me and throw it again next turn, so.
Okay.
That was action, bonus action, potentially movement, so that's it for me.
Why have I not got the damage up for that? Is there something I'm doing?
I don't know. Let's see. I can click it just fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Strange. Okay. Rick.
So step forward, 10 feet away, approximately.
Mm-hmm.
And frostbite. Frostbite at level 4. 28 plus 7.
Nice. Yeah.
And then it gets all your
Faster,
masters.
Daddy. Maybe faster. Maybe faster. Maybe
Well, the
faster.
one... Whoa, your previous attack was enough to put that one down.
Daddy,
Yeah, the
maybe
next one is getting
faster.
all your masters.
So
Moving up.
he's about 30 feet from you.
Daddy,
Yeah.
do it really faster.
Hold on, darling.
It's a good thing I have the reach.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
So that's oh shit. The zombies are next.
Oh, yes.
Let's see. Do I have the movement to take a step back?
10, 20. Oh, no, 10. You used.
I was right next to Valkyrie, so
So you used 20 to get to that zombie. Because you was 10 away from him and he was 30 distance. And then you used remaining
another
10.
10. I should have like 5 feet remaining, I think. 5 or 10.
Okay.
I don't know what I want. Give me a... No, that's fine. I can just sit there and tank it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alright, give me 1 sec. I'll just put some juice in and I'll do the zombies.
Okay.
Brain.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
All right, I finally have everything working again.
Don't jinx it.
True.
That zombie, obviously, is going to slam against you. Disadvantage because you've got your bloody
Yeah, disadvantage.
miss.
A miss.
That one's gonna come up to him. That one's gonna come to there. Actually, he's gonna use both to get to there, and he's gonna use both to get to there.
If he gets into range, he gets claimed.
Yeah, that's fine.
4. Shoop.
Nice.
33 damage.
Yep. That one's still standing though, unfortunately.
Yep.
Okay. Garfunkel.
Right, so just for confirmation, what's up? What's left?
You've got.
We have several zombies.
Yeah. You've got.
Several?
Three zombies surrounding or becoming surrounded to Rick, and then you've got a series of skeleton figures that seem to be on the opposing mez floor across the way.
And Does it seem like they're taking more hits than a standard zombie would take?
Oh yeah,
How many have we killed? Sorry.
1.
We've only killed one. I'm going to cast haste on myself as an action.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the closest one. Whereabouts is it? I can't see them on the map.
For you, you'd make it about 10 feet shy if you're using your full.
The haste gives me double movement
Oh, okay.
speed, so I
Yeah,
have
no, yeah, sorry. So yeah, you can get up next to him if you want.
Yep, I don't
No
know where it
advantage,
is.
unfortunately. You're not flanking.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Where is it? Where
Right.
am I? Where am I?
Within melee.
Oh, there. Okay. And I believe I only have one attack, which is the hasted attack now. So I will do that.
Unless you're an Eldritch Knight,
whoa.
in which case it's
He's a
different.
paladin.
But yes. Yep.
Oh, why do I have
It's-
that?
It's gonna die anyway. It doesn't need too much damage.
Okay. I need to quickly. So it's 5 plus 2 should be 7. What the fuck? I guess I'm confused. I feel like I have. Oh yeah. So that should be plus 4. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Yeah. So that happened.
Okay. Yeah,
When-
as you swing around your axe, you kind of, as you go to swing it like around the back of your head and round into the zombie, you kind of clip the pillow behind and you kind of look back and think, ah.
Alrighty. That's my turn, by the way. That's all I can do.
Okay.
Yeah, my modifier to hit isn't plus 15. It should be plus 11.
Yep.
Okay.
You should probably look at what's causing that.
Yeah, I changed it.
Yep. Turn order. It's the
Skellen's turn.
skeletons.
And as you're the closest that they can see, each one of them are going to pull their bows, and you hear the strings like creak. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, am I getting attacked?
Oh yes.
Alrighty.
1,
I just
3.
hit my 4 arrows.
Which I think none of them hit, or one of them hits, maybe.
One.
2 of them
The
hit.
last one hit.
Last one hit.
No, the last one hits me.
For 14 points of piercing damage.
Alrighty. Sweet. Oh, and I need to do a concentration check with advantage. Yep, I'm good.
Okay, Lokag.
Alright. So there's something up there that's barely standing?
There's, yeah,
How close is it to me?
30 feet, I'd say. Well,
Alright.
probably 35 actually. 35 because you've got Valkyrie in front of you.
But as long as I can move 30 and get right next to it.
You'd be 10 feet from it. 5 foot from it. So there'd be a 10-foot gap between you and it. If that makes sense.
Guys, I'll have to go in about half an hour.
Yeah, we'll close it off in a sec.
Wait,
Well, I'm at the top of the turn order. It makes sense to do it now.
Mhm.
We're gonna do it at any time.
It depends on how long it takes us to burn through these.
I will grab my sword and shield as my action and move 30 feet.
All right.
That's my
Valkyrie.
turn.
You see the zombies in front of us, and there are skeletons all the way on the other side. With bows.
All right. About how far across is it?
It is about 60 feet across. Yeah, about 60 odd feet across. So to them, you're probably looking about 75 feet.
All right. Yeah, I don't think there's any way I can do it. Actually, the glowy orb thing in the previous room, is that something we still need to worry about?
No.
Okay, just checking because I missed that part.
We touched the door, and it started to glow with more intensity. I touched it with my earth element. It dispelled. So,
Alright. So, would 120 feet be enough distance for Valkyrie to go down the stairs, across the room, up the stairs, and reach the skeletons on the other side?
You'd probably just get to the first skeleton, yes.
Oh, that's fine. Valkyrie's going to cast Haste on herself as a bonus action with Quicken spell.
Mhm.
And then she's going to dash to get over there as her hasted action.
Okay.
Doesn't have time to pull back the Shadow Blade. That's what I was looking
So
for.
that gets you there. Alright.
Yep, that works.
Yep.
Seeing that they've got the zombies on lockdown, don't want to leave these guys unattended to.
Mhm.
She's gonna try and get all of their attention on her by rushing up to the closest one, but shooting a firebolt at the furthest away one.
Okay.
I hope a 24 hits
Yeah.
for 18 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Kind of middling, but yeah, hopefully that'll get their attention. But yeah, that's it for her turn.
Okay. Rick.
all right.
Oof,
Well,
didn't expect that symbol to be so large.
oh wow. I'm gonna have to get rid of these. So let's start with the zombie in front of me. Not the one that's damaged already, but the one that's creeping up on us. So he gets that, and he gets this.
So that one that's creeping up on you is enough to put him down. One next to you. Yeah. Yeah. And that one. Oh, that is also enough to put him down, I think. Yeah.
Ah, sweet. So you just see in slow motion whirling Frosty cutting things in half. Beautiful red locks flowing in the wind and striking a pose at the end. That's my turn.
So the last zombie on your side comes up to you.
And he gets close.
Polyalomst.
He gets bumped. He gets bumped by this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're immune to cold damage.
You just enter the next room and it's just like, oh, you're all immune.
Takes some serious damage, sort of stumbles a little bit, but as it leeches forward for one last attack.
In previous editions, most undead were immune to cold damage.
Yep. That's a miss.
Miss. Okie dokie. Totally not Garfunkel.
Banjo.
Angie.
I thought he said he was leaving in 30 minutes, not 30 seconds.
Yeah, me too. I can't move his token either, so.
I think you're muted. He's just muted, maybe.
Yeah, he probably did mute himself.
Probably just had to step away for a moment.
Maybe.
I'll say once these are dealt with, I'll work out where you're going next and reveal the area and close it off for today.
Yeah, I think though I think we won't get that far. We might stop when it's Dogcake's turn.
Alright, sorry guys. I'm back.
Yep.
So what's up? How many zombies are in this hole now? Is
You
it just
got
one?
one right by you, about 10 foot from you, and the skeletons on the opposite mez from where you are.
I'll attack the one that's right by me.
Okay, so you move 10 feet closer.
Yep.
Pow pow.
Kablammy, 28 to hit. Oof.
Yep, that hits.
So 18 slashing damage.
Yeah, it had one.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's fine.
And how far away are the skeletons?
They're about 75 feet from your standing.
Mm-hmm. I'll use the
down.
dash. I'll use my haste.
You can't fly though.
Oh.
Yeah, you're on like an upper mez, so you have a 30-foot drop to the ground below, and a 30-foot climb if you wanted to do that. Or you could go down the stairs, around the room, and up the stairs. But that would take a little bit longer, I would imagine.
I want to try to drop and climb. And I'll use the hasted action to dash.
You got any climbing gear?
Oh, I thought... Okay, I
30-foot
saw the
drop.
rope here.
Yeah,
there's
rope
rope there.
on the other
There's
end.
not a rope on this side.
I was just going to take the damage.
Yeah. So you just kind of like lean over the parapets and it's just like, yeah, I can do that. And you just jump.
Yep, basically.
So that's...
try a
3d.
roll.
Yeah.
Try a roll. So 3d6 damage.
And as you hit the ground, you summon 20 greater undead down.
So 3d6 damage, is it?
Yep, 10 damage.
Yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that. And then...
Dex with... I'll make it a normal dex roll as there's a rope.
To climb up, would it not be athletics?
Yeah, sorry.
Alright. Sweet, because I'm really good at that. I don't know how much movement, but I'm assuming if I use the hasted action to dash, I could get there.
What's your full hasted action?
Hasted with dash will be 120 feet.
Yeah, you can get there.
And then
Valkyrie's wondering why he didn't just cast the fly spell on top of his haste.
And then I used my second attack
You can get
action
to
to attack with the battle.
there. That's as close as you can get.
Is that within attack range?
Yep.
Right, so the 30 to hit. 13 slashing, and I want to pop one of these bad boys.
Nice.
So that's 20. Oh, so that's 13 slashing plus 18 radiant damage.
Are you sure
Hi
that
guys.
the damage comes into play?
Sorry, I didn't
Are you
realize.
sure it's undead?
I didn't realize, but I have to go like now.
We should be wrapping up soon, so you shouldn't miss
Yeah.
much.
Right.
That's fine.
Anyone can play banjo.
There's literally just the 4 skeletons left.
Right. Thanks for the session.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. That's fine. Catch up
See you
soon.
next week. Glad to have you back.
Where are we? Let's
Yeah.
The skeletons.
turn.
just in case I need to do that. Okay, yes, the skeletons. So, where are they? Let me get rid of the zombie. Skeletons. 1, 2, Valkyrie. 1, 2, Valkyrie. 21, 25, 18.
A Valkyrie will pop a shield from her, one of the shield spells that's stored in her ring, which will make the 21 miss, but the 25 will still hit.
Okay, so that's 18 points of piercing damage. And then we have the one. Where is it?
These are some really strong short bows.
They're imbued.
And he rolled max damage.
And
Yeah.
1 for
Might want to pick one of these up.
Rick and 1 for
I'm at disadvantage.
you are. That's fine though. 1 for Rick.
And I made both of my concentration checks.
And 1 for Banjo. To be precise.
Short bow of dust.
Come on, why did the other one not work? There you go, yeah. So they both miss, I'm guessing, yeah. Okay. Lokek's turn.
Poor Lokek. No zombies left.
He's got a bow, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh shit! You deleted
I think I
Lokek.
just
Okay,
got
he's
rid
dead.
of him. Hold on.
And then suddenly Lokek vanished from existence.
Who touched the sphere?
I was reading a spell, to be honest.
Ciao.
I'm just gonna dash and start heading down the stairs towards the next stairs.
Okay. There we go. It's because I know why. It's because of that. I don't want that on it. Okay. So you're dashing down the stairs, yeah? 30. You could probably get about there. Okay. Oh, let's turn over. Was it 26 or something?
Yep.
Yep.
And
26
Valkyrie
point
Kane
18.
afterwards.
Valkyrie.
Alright, bonus action to call back her Shadow Blade, and then she's got an action and a hasted action to swing at this thing.
Do it.
And you said this room was lit up?
Yeah, this room's lit. There's the fire pit in the middle of the room there.
What's in that one?
You could douse the that, and then of course that would then impose that benefit. Yeah. So.
Oh, so knowing that, can I change what I was doing slightly? Or is it too late since I already
Not for
rolled?
this turn. I probably shouldn't have even given you that much information.
Hasted action, dose it.
Well, I do have a cantrip I can use to extinguish it. So I would have used my regular action for that.
Okay.
I can also extinguish it.
But if I've no point if I'm just gonna I'll just take the second swing.
No worries.
Oh, yes.
Does the 16 hit?
A 16 does hit, yes. Well,
And I'm going to go ahead and pump a sorcery point in to empower that.
okay.
There we go, 17 points of psychic damage. Still kind of meh, but better.
It crumbles to dust.
Don't know.
Hello, Gaga.
That's your turn.
That was bonus action, hasted action. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Ravenite jumps down, flaps her wings, and lands next to the thing, and uses her action to put it out with the frost magic.
I literally have a cantrip called Control Flames.
Okay. So.
With a range of 60 feet. I wouldn't have even had to move.
You do it. You do
Okay.
it.
Who's got control over Garfunkel?
I've given you it, Rick, but I have the sheet open, but I didn't know what you thought he would probably.
I mean, I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna smack the zombie, smack the skeleton, smack it. He's gonna attack twice.
Okay.
Well, I'm guessing with his battle axe, isn't it?
And he's gonna smite the living hell out of them.
No, he's just gonna attack it regularly twice. And with his hasted action, if the skeleton is not dead, he will attack it again.
No, dead.
All right. Then he moves up to the next one besides him.
Okay.
Battle axe to the face. Wait, he had been hasted attack.
Yeah. Still have an hasted attack.
Yeah, he still has the third attack.
Smack a skeleton.
And then it's Skeleton's turn.
Yep. So. 1, 2. Oh no, I don't need to. One for him. Oh, bloody hell. 24 points of piercing damage for Garfunkel.
Yep. He needs to make a con save.
For his haste.
With advantage.
I assume he has Warcaster.
Yes, he does.
If you're using haste, you should have Warcaster. Not that he needed it.
Yeah, he has Warcaster,
Yeah.
but it's fine. He succeeded.
Critically hit, critically saved.
The one by you, Valkyrie, not that I can see anything, is going to take his sword to you.
Alright.
Oh, and miss.
I'm not the only one who nat ones.
The one that spotted Rick dousing the flame.
Yep. Still at disadvantage.
Yeah. And miss. And that's their turn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just running up.
Yeah, you get to the top of the stairs.
Yeah, I'd say so. You get to like there.
That's with double move.
Oh, true.
Sadly. Then it's Valkyrie Kane's turn. Attacking with advantage. Go.
Indeed.
Finally.
Later, so she doesn't get it. Just
I cast Immolation on Locat? No. Alright, so first swing. Now with advantage. Still might miss.
Yeah, that does miss. Just though.
AC 14.
But I have a haste action, so here's the second swing. That should hit.
Yep.
You mean it's not a double red number?
17 more psychic damage.
Nice.
Just to be sure, psychic. He does seem to be reacting to the damage, right?
Yeah, without doubt.
Okay, I just want to make sure he's not like immune to psychic damage and I'm wasting my time.
This one.
Well, this is the one that matters right now, so that's it for her turn.
Okay, wonderful, good. Rick.
All right.
Man, that's one tough skeleton.
I can barely get up here, but that's all I can do. So, double move, hasted, not hasted action, but move and dash to fly up and land around here.
Mm-hmm.
That's my turn.
Okay.
Garfunkel, battle axe.
Battle axe. Triple battle axe to this.
And Valkyrie already scorched that one, so it's a little weakened.
Double axe to the back.
That one. Yeah. enough to turn him to dust.
Valkyrie needs to get some magic item to give her sword a bonus to its attack rolls, because +7 is not cutting it, even with advantage.
He would move and then use his other
Yep. Keep battle
two
axing.
actions. 1, 2.
Well, you only get one attack with your hasted action.
Oh, okay.
It specifies a single attack on the spell.
Yep.
It's just one extra then.
Yeah, so just the 24.
Where's the bloody thing gone? There. Okay. Scullens.
Yeah.
The 2 that remain.
1 at Banjo. Oh, 15.
Oh, that's another 15.
And another concentration check.
Yep.
Only DC 10, but still.
Don't forget he has
That one,
advantage.
his advantage is because he's got it on toggle and I'm used to it being query.
You can just roll twice. Simple enough.
Just do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other one by you, Valkyrie, do the same.
Yep. Normally that would hit, but haste gives +2 to AC, so that is a miss.
Hey. Okay, Lokag.
Is that skeleton within 30 feet?
It is 30 feet. Yes.
Alright, I'll run up and attack it. Twice.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
20 damage.
And enough to turn it to dust. As your second swipe attack through its torso, it kind of slices through the bone, but instead of it like brittling and like clanking to the ground in just a pile of bones, it just like poofs into like just dust.
Shards of glass.
No, you didn't get crit. Anything else for
I
you?
wonder if their weapons will be useful to us. Yeah, I glare at the one skeleton still up. That's my turn.
Okay. Valkyrie.
Valkyrie's going to move into flanking for super advantage.
Yeah.
And take a couple of swings at this last one.
Okay. Let's see.
Sweet.
We might not need a couple, but let's see.
Not with that.
Okay.
Valkyrie's pissed at how much that first skeleton refused to go down. And takes it out on this next one for 29 points of psychic damage.
Nice. Okay, yeah. He again just kind of turns to like a cloud of dust in your area. It's like a yellowy, horrid tinge of yellow.
That was her hasted action. As her regular action, she will use Gust to get that out of her face.
Sure. Okay. So, you're now in this room, at the opposite side of the sealed door. As you came in, you have 2 higher mez floors, one of which you're on, one of which you've come from, and a somewhat open door. You also have 2 doorways, archways from the 2 mezzes that you're upon.
We will sneak up on this passageway and sort of listen. If that makes sense.
What I will do
So-
is I'll firstly
Well, I'll
Ah,
see you
come
guys
on.
next-
do this. How about
The funny thing is that I could easily not roll in that one and still do worse than that.
Yeah, Ravena is busy fixing the hair because of all the dust.
Yeah, yeah. Look at my perception check.
obviously the only thing you can hear, Lokag, is the buzz and hum of some sort of energy in the area. But what I will reveal to you for next session is
I whispered to Ravena, you hear that? You hear that? That's building up.
the
That's your
next
thought
room
now?
is what you will come across next session. So I will close it off there, guys.
I told Ravena that is the buzzing is her lustful energy building up.
Ah, yes.
Now, I'm sorry I missed a chunk in the middle there, guys.
Nah, it's all right. You didn't miss too
It's
much.
alright. I'll see you guys next week.
Oh man.
I'll add the EXP later.
No worries. I'll calculate it now anyway.
Magical puzzle energy
I
sucking.
need sleep.
Yep. See you later, Lokek.
Later.
5,000 XP for solving the slot puzzle. 3,000 for the skeleton. No,
Unfortunately, that little encounter was quite small, so you don't get a lot for that.
it was a pretty simple puzzle. I'm not expecting much, if anything.
I tell you what, I had such high hopes for that puzzle, and it just didn't go how I thought it would. So, do I still have it, or did I delete it? I think I deleted it already. But pretty much the idea was he was going to have, depending on what rolled, he was going to have different encounters. So, where is it? So any sevens that were shown would call that number of monsters. If any monster symbols were shown, so like the little Space Invader symbols that I put on there, if that had come up with a 7, then 7 monsters would have randomly spawned in the ethereal plane for you to fight.
Neat.
The bells were each, so if you had more than one bell at a time, was 1d8 necrotic damage. And then any sevens and any bells would add +7 per bell shown. All the keys in place would lock and then allow you to enter the safer area of the zone.
Fine.
What is it? Yeah, and that was pretty much the majority of what was on there. So.
And then we all rolled keys. And
I
nothing happened.
know. Never mind. I'll use some.
Hey, Valkyrie rolled one other thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a whole 3 points of damage.
Yeah. So that was 900 XP for the encounter, and
Oh man, if we
put
picked the giant
XP
lizard, we would have gotten so much XP.
day rate. Oh god, if you guys had gone for either of those dragons, you would have either been dead, or if you did manage to beat them somehow, then that would have been. I would have just called it a straight milestone and leveled you up with your XP added on top. So whatever XP you would have had going through the next level.
Oh,
Nice.
Literally the 2 dragons that you've come across. So The iridescent dragon is like a mother to kill.
Did
And the red was just
any-
a dragon.
anything extra for Valkyrie's brilliant decoy plan?
Do you know what? I will give.
Ditch the helicopter and stealth away.
There you go.
So ditching the helicopter loses me experience. I get it.
That's not a minus, but yeah. But yeah, no, I completely thought when you was like, I'm gonna ditch the helicopter, I'm like, this is some A-team shit right here.
Except A-Team didn't have magic. Don't worry, guys. I'll get another way. Don't go on without me. Okay, I'm back. Oh,